What is going on, everyone? Happy Forest Friday. It's also regular Friday. It's also CES Friday. It's also the Sin City Studio is full Friday. And welcome back to Sin City Crypto Live. My name is David. I'll be one of your co-hosts. And today, like every single weekday, we are coming at you live from our studio in Las Vegas, Nevada with our daily live show. Today's topics we're talking about a DOJ investigation and lawsuit filed against a prominent NFT project that rug pulled. We're talking Alex Mashinsky. We're talking Celsius. We're talking Sam Bankman-Fried pleads for his Robinhood shares. Why? We'll go over that. But first, I'd like to introduce you to your first co-host, Big Rob. What's up?
Hola! It's your boy Big Rob back in the house. Welcome to Sin City Crypto. If it's your first time checking us out, we're an entertainment-focused cryptocurrency channel where we take the old, the boring, the stale information, package it up in a fun and sexy way. Also, here at Sin City Crypto, we evaluate the price of Bitcoin that has not moved since early November.
Bitcoin is now a stable coin.
Yeah. That's right. Also, we were at CES yesterday. We'll be back there again today, and we also have some guests in the house. Really excited. You want to take it away, there, David?
We'll take it away because we know Robin has issues pronouncing names. So, so we have a few people. Obviously, CES is the biggest convention in Las Vegas. So we have a few of our crypto friends here in studio. We're gonna start with my friend next to me, Mr. Cassius Cuvée. First timer on the show. Welcome, my friend. You want to take just real quick, tell people about yourself, where they can find you, and kind of
man, what I appreciate. Well, what's poppin'? It's your boy Cassius Cuvée. I'm the host of Poppin' Crypto. I'm loving the fact that I'm here in Sin City with Sin City Crypto. This is amazing. My homegirl Cassie, she is the plug, and everybody out there watching, appreciate y'all. You can tap into @Cassius Cuvée on all my socials and also my show Poppin' Crypto on YouTube.
That's right. And then we have the Duchess of DeFi herself, without the T, Miss Cassie Wolf. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, guys? My name's Cassie. You can follow me on Twitter at Duchess of DeFi. I'm about to launch my own YouTube channel. Super stoked.
Oh, nice.
Figured I'd come in and visit the Masters.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if Master.
We're in a bear market, so I don't feel so masterful.
Don't let them fool you. This place is dope. Guys, if you're ever in the town, you want to check this spot out.
Yeah, appreciate that. Guys, we tagged all their socials in the description of this video. Make sure to go follow them. We also have Forrest joining us in about 10 minutes. But I want to kick this thing off. And I want to talk about, of course, CES, which is why everyone's here. This is why Cassie and Cassius are here, and we're going today. So, Cassius, this is you, and I need to know, what kind of car are you standing in front of?
Well, that is a concept car. So we're at the Silo Cloud is the name of a product that's coming out, where actually is kind of along the same lines of the ethos of crypto and decentralization, where you have the cloud services like AWS. This company is making it so that you can have your own cloud that you control all by yourself. So shout out Lael Alexander. You guys are going to see more from me at CES covering it. I actually have a song for him. If you guys don't know about my show, Poppin' Crypto, I'm a recording artist. So I always write a custom song, a rap song, and perform it for all of my guests who come on the show. And then we do the interview. And in this case, it's about Silo Cloud right there.
Can we get one for Sin City Crypto?
We for sure can. We for sure can. So be on the lookout for that in the next little while.
Awesome, man. So what was your, so I know Rob and I went yesterday. We were kind of filling the place out. I know Cassie just got in today, so you haven't gone yet, right, Cassie?
Not yet.
Not yet. But we're all going today. But Cassius, what was it like? We know it's huge. What was like your biggest takeaway from day one, let's just say?
Well, it is huge. Okay, first of all, this covers the whole entire Las Vegas Convention Center. A lot of cool innovations in tech. I was there to see Vuzix. They make AR glasses, is where Silo Cloud, they have operating system in the cloud. And, you don't have time to go see everything. Massive, massive event with a lot of people, but exciting energy. This is on the cutting edge of the future. So that's why I'm there. Everything popping. That's where your boy Cassius Cuvée is going to be.
You know what I saw there yesterday, man? It looked like a VR headset. And I was like, oh, metaverse, here we go. And then it was an eyeball massager. I was slightly creeped out. I was like, I don't know how I feel about that.
It looked like RoboCop.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about somebody massaging my eyeballs, bro.
You guys should have seen Robin nerding out on the hardware, the computer hardware.
Man, yeah.
It was
David was standing by like my wife, like had no idea what I was talking about. Just like, I was like, so how many HDMI inputs can you get on this thing? PCIe lanes. I'm like, I was all nerded out. So
that's funny. There are a few blockchain companies out there. We're gonna try to sniff them out today. But it is across 4 different other convention centers. You have the Vegas, Venetian, Mandalay Bay, and the Cosmo. But we plan on filming out there, so we should be able to bring you some content here soon. I want to pivot to, we're going to talk about some exchanges today. And, you know, I don't know how I feel about this. How do you feel about this? We'll kind of show the video here. So the title to this is When You Leave an Exchange Before It Goes Bust. And so have you done this? Any one of you? And, you know, you just kind of look in, you go out, close the door, and then, but you don't leave. You just stand there and you keep watching and wait for the flames to.
It's Miley Cyrus.
So
Come back.
Did that a long time
Come
ago.
back. I feel like that's half of the crypto space, right? Everyone's portfolios are down. They're like freaking out, and they're like, you know what? Deuces.
I'll be back. Okay, all seriousness.
But they'll be back at the wrong time. That's the worst part.
So we got to buy this dip.
Yeah.
We've seen FTX go under. We've seen Voyager go under. Celsius wasn't really an exchange. They went under. Do you think there's another exchange that's like right there? Maybe it's Gemini with the Genesis thing. Maybe it's Binance with all the FUD going around. Maybe it's KuCoin. Maybe it's Huobi. What's your feeling? And I'll start with Cassie first. Do you think there's one more or a few more big exchanges that are going to go under or that have to go under before we hit the bottom?
Oh, that's hard. I think it's possible we could lose some more. I personally just stay off of them in general. But I've heard a lot of FUD and I've heard some rumors. I guess we'll see which ones pan out.
Which ones pan out?
Yeah.
I know we talked about before the show. You said you're big into self-custody.
Yes.
Outside of obvious reasons, is there like, what do you like about self-custody? What do you think can improve about it? Because I think we can all agree here, it's not extremely practical for the average person who doesn't understand crypto. Like, all right, I get this code, I got to write the seed phrase, I got to plug it in, I got to transfer this wallet, that wallet. What would you like to see change versus what's working right now?
So as far as, and you're right. So there's a huge learning curve if you want to have. I mean, even using MetaMask, I've done one-on-one lessons with people and tried to walk them through it. And even people in the tech industry struggle with it. It's because it's not intuitive, and I don't understand why they don't put more money into making the product more user-friendly. But I think once we have a product that can kind of cover the middle ground, right, where it's user-friendly, also self-custody, maybe has a way to on and off-ramp fiat, I think that's going to be a game changer for a lot of people.
Yeah, and you brought up fiat on and off ramp. We saw Silvergate's in a little bit of trouble. We also saw that Wire is leaving the crypto space. So who knows?
Really?
Is a new person going to step in? And Rob and I have talked about this on the show as well. What I think is going to happen is we're going to get these large banks like JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America. They're going to see a void in the market. People obviously are curious about crypto. There's more every cycle we go through, more and more people learn about crypto. They get excited about crypto and they just don't trust themselves with custody. And so what better option for those people if they don't feel comfortable self-custodying and they don't trust the centralized exchanges in crypto than to have your bank that you have all your money at custody your crypto as well, right? All right. We have Forrest ready. We're going to go ahead and patch him in. Mr. Forrest. How you doing, my friend?
What's up, bro?
What's up, guys?
Hey, not
you
much,
doing?
man. Thank you so much again for joining us. We got an absolutely packed house today. So guys, if you're not familiar with Forrest, this is a friend of our channel. He joins us every single Friday. Founder of Sistine Research, formerly Crypto Stackers Pro. Huge TA guy. And so Forrest, we have Cassie and Cassius joining us in studio here. Not sure if you guys have ever met before, but they're also content creators in our space. And so they're here for CES, which is like you were going to be here too, man.
Hey, nice to meet you guys.
Of course.
I thought you were coming down to CES, man. Thought we were going to party out here.
I missed that last part. No, I'm not doing a lot of traveling right now, focusing on the business, focusing on content. No traveling for me right now, just waiting it out.
That's no fun. Just kidding.
Very busy.
All right. I want to jump right in. Before we get into the charts, I want to jump right into I believe one of the biggest news stories. And it might not seem like big news because it's only $3 million. But this could set precedents for what is to come. And that is not the SEC, not the CFTC, but the Department of Justice filing charges against the alleged Mutant Ape Planet NFT rug pull. And so I'm just going to kind of read this article. This is sourced from Decrypt. The U.S. Justice Department announced Thursday it had arrested and filed criminal charges against the founder of an NFT project that alleges rug pulled holders and defrauded them of $2.9 million in crypto. The person's name is Ariellen Michel, 24 years old. I believe he's a French citizen, lives in the UAE. He was arrested last night at JFK Airport in New York City by federal authorities on wire fraud charges. The move constitutes the third time federal prosecutors have pursued charges against orchestrators of so-called NFT rug pulls, which are schemes where an NFT project's creators sell NFTs on false promises of community benefits, utility, and financial perks, only to abandon the project and make away with investor funds. Federal prosecutors cooperated in this action with both the Department of Homeland Security and the IRS. Making matters more complicated for the founder is the fact that prosecutors claim they have evidence that he conceded, and I think this is the part I want to hammer home. He conceded on social media chat with current and prospective NFT purchasers that he had indeed choreographed the rug pull, but only allegedly in response to the conduct of the community. And his comment was, "We never intended to rug, but the community went way too toxic." So I will start with Robin first. First of all, are you surprised this came from the Department of Justice and not, let's say, the SEC or the CFTC or whatever C?
I mean, it's criminal activity, so it falls in their jurisdiction, right? And, remember that laws, a lot of it is swayed by intent. So, that's why for premeditated murder, for example, is the highest punishment versus manslaughter where you were just negligent. And so, there's no reason you wouldn't apply the same kind of philosophy to finance or in NFTs for this case. And so if your intent from the get-go was to fraud, then I think at that point, it should be handled differently than a project, say, losing liquidity or just having the community fall out from under it. Yeah.
Cassius, let me ask you this. Do you think this is going to set a precedence moving forward for any other crypto or NFT project that pretty much doesn't follow through on everything they say they are?
Well, in some respects, I hope so. I mean, I think there should be responsibility and accountability. I want everybody who starts a project to be held to the highest standard and, make sure that they take care of their community. I mean, that should be.
So how do you because we know businesses fail, right? How do you differentiate from a business just failing versus someone purposely trying to rug their people or steal money from them?
Okay, well, just real quick. In this case, I mean, he kind of did incriminate himself with that tweet. He basically said, F you to the community. Yeah. And that's why I did it. So, I mean, yeah, I would say that falls under the jurisdiction of the DOJ in that case. As far as the question you asked me, it's a little more gray area in that respect because obviously we're hoping that people have the best intentions at heart when they start a project, NFT project, crypto project, anything like that. And honestly, I really think it's got to be a case-by-case basis. That's pretty hard one to say in advance. They've got to show that they're doing everything they can to make sure that the community is safe and protected. But I think if you start out at the beginning, doing what you say and saying what you do, you shouldn't get yourself into that position in the first place. There are some technical things you could set up in place so that somebody's not, only one person who has like the keys to whatever wallet holds all the funds that came into the project. There's things like that where you have multi-sig wallets, things like that. So there's not just one individual who can rug everybody.
Right.
But
those are manipulated too.
Those could be, yeah. So I mean, they can still collude or whatever. So a lot of it is trust, right? In the sense of an NFT project.
Yeah.
But I think as let's say not a founder who starts an NFT project, but as an investor or someone who's a collector, you should go into it, looking at it as something that if you are going into it, not just for art, but for some other reason, for utility or some access, make sure that you're earning your value right away from the beginning. Select projects that, if it's some sort of passive income you're looking for, make sure that that's starting right away, not promising you years down the line.
Right.
Real quick, let's just get input from the chat, guys. If you think that NFT projects or just that, any crypto projects should be held in the same regard as far as accountability, punishment, whether or not the intention is different. So whether or not a project rug pulls because it ended up that way over time, or if that was the plan from the get-go, do you think they should be prosecuted differently? Think they should be held to a different regard? One in the chat if you think you should blanket the same kind of punishment and accountability. Put a 2 in the chat if you think, hey man, you know what, things happen, businesses change. If you start off good and then things don't go as planned, then put a 2 in the chat.
I want to ask Cassie. Do you want to see more of this, Cassie? Do you want to see more NFT projects be held accountable? Do you want to see more lawsuits against the bad actors in our space? Or do you think it should be, it's on the investor, do your own research, do your own due diligence? What are your thoughts?
Hard because, yeah, as far as, yes, there need to be consequences. It seems like with as fast as the space moves, it's like people forget so fast. Like I know there are a few people that have pulled multiple rug pulls and they just continue thriving and they have communities and nothing happens. So I guess on one hand, I'm glad the DOJ is stepping in. On the other hand, though, kind of going back to, making comparisons between NFT projects and businesses, typically when someone's running a business, investors are able to verify that they have the experience necessary to carry out whatever roadmap, whatever they're promising. And
good point.
We just don't have that in NFTs. I mean, anyone can launch an NFT project.
So are you saying that you would not feel comfortable investing in an NFT project if the founders were anonymous or not doxxed? Is that completely out of the question, or?
It would depend.
Okay.
I tend when it comes to NFT projects, and granted, I've bought into plenty, and they're all sitting at 0 now. So
yay, me too.
Yeah, we've all been through that.
Actually, JPEG Junkies is not sitting at 0. That was my best NFT. So shout out to DZ. JPEG Junkies. Sorry,
also, shout out to Debate Crypto. He's in the chat here hanging out
Debate
with
Crypto,
us.
what's up, mate? All right. I want to ask our friend Forrest. So Forrest, what are your just general thoughts on the DOJ going after this? Do you want to see more of it? What do we need to see for people to have confidence in the NFT markets again, for money to start flowing in again? What are your just general thoughts and moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a double-edged sword. It's good to hold scammers accountable. It's just the gray area of identifying what is clearly a scam and what is a failed business. I don't know what the statistic is, but it's like 90+% of all businesses fail. So are you going to start going after people or founders just because they started an NFT project and the business dynamics of it just failed? Well, that really discourages people from trying to innovate and create cool things in the NFT space if they're worried about getting sued or going to jail or whatever for a potential failed business.
So where do you draw the line?
Yeah, exactly. And I think in this case, it's very cut and dry because the guy admitted to do a rug pull. So it's like, okay, in that case, yes, prosecute him. But it's very difficult to draw the line between what has been a failed project or a failed company. And personally, I don't think there's anything wrong as long as you're upfront about it. Like investors and NFT buyers should know what they're getting themselves into. I think it's good that we have a lot of failed projects because we know what doesn't work, and it allowed people to come in and try new things that did or didn't work. And hopefully when things don't work, the founders find a way to pivot and to recover the project or whatever. But it's, if it's just like straight up theft of funds, straight up shutting down the Discord and moving on and not following through with anything, yeah, that's obvious that that's a rug pull. Those need to be prosecuted and the founders need to be held accountable. But I personally, as bad as it sucks, I don't think that there's anything wrong with failed businesses. It's just differentiating between the two can be an issue.
Some of the, you look at some of the biggest companies, they've come from those people having multiple failures in the past, and they just kept going and going and going. And so I think everyone brings up very valid points. You brought up, if you're just going to, all right, if you start a project, we know, right, in the world of business, 95% of companies fail within the first 6 months.
Yeah.
And so if you're going to say the same thing about the crypto space, well, where do you draw that line? Where do they draw that line in traditional markets, right? Are they going to look at that? But I agree. I think
it's also emerging markets, man.
Yeah.
And you look at any new emerging market, and you look at history. This is textbook, man. I mean, you look at the dawn of the internet age. You can go back to the Industrial Revolution, and you're just going to have a ton of startups that nobody knows what they're doing because there's no roadmap. I mean, Bitcoin itself is only 14 years old and didn't really get adoption until the last 6-7 years, and so everything after that is what, 4 years old. 7 years old at most, really. So it's an emerging sector. Things are going to break. That's to be expected. Also, what's not expected is how many likes we got in this chat here. Why is there only 60 likes in here? Do y'all not like our guests? Do you not like us, man? Like, what is going on here?
I don't think someone mentioned you don't have an undershirt. I don't think they like that. No. Okay, we have a thing.
These are snap buttons, bro.
No,
this thing will
hold
break
on.
open hella quick.
So Cassius and Cassie, we have a thing. I don't know what it is. We've had Seth and Nick from Debate Crypto.
Yeah,
Keeper.
yeah, debate.
Dudes took their shirts off, man.
Mhm.
And so these guys over here trying to button his shirt. Guys,
Yeah,
we're
it was
a
like-
family program. Okay?
They were doing
This
push-ups.
is Las Vegas, man. I'm telling you.
And
man.
they were doing push-ups at the
People just
Influencer
think
Awards,
they're
too.
at, they think they're at the pool like 24/7. Like, you're not at the pool. You're at
That
Sin City
was fun,
Studios
man.
here.
That
all right?
was fun.
Well, speaking of which, we do have a club thing here. I don't know if y'all are aware, but we reached certain milestones in the chat as far as viewership. We open up the club, have a Vegas,
the pub.
the pub, yeah. Pub, club, whatever. We have a Vegas party. We do what Vegas does best. So if we get 250 today?
Let's do 250.
Yeah, if we get to 250 viewers in the chat today, we will open up the club, have a Vegas party, and show them what we do here. So,
Yes.
also, we got a few new people in the chat. So, real quick, a little shout out. We do have Andre, Mark, G, The Force 123, Dennis Jung, Addy, Colin McDaniel, Seekin Hunt, Lance Mimi, Crypto Hands, and Stick. To all of you, hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto.
Forrest, I want to know what the markets are doing, my friend. So can we send it to you for some TA?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me share my screen here, and we'll go picture in picture. There we go. All right. So look, the markets right now are largely going to be. Let me pull up Bitcoin here. We've kind of bounced back in terms of the correlation that we're starting to see between the S&P 500 and the crypto market. Once FTX collapsed, we actually saw the S&P 500 move up. We saw Bitcoin and the crypto market move down, correlation went negative, and now we've kind of fallen back into a period of correlation. So it's important, despite the fact that we're very all interested in crypto, it's very important to keep an eye on the legacy markets, which have been just kind of consolidating, bouncing around until today. We're actually getting a move back up. And this is, you can see from my drawings here, this is something that I've been talking about, a potential January rally, maybe a Q1 rally, and everybody's been super, super bearish. But in the short term, I've been saying, hey, there's a really decent chance, and I don't know if we'll get follow through here, but there's a really decent chance with this bullish divergence that we've got on the daily that we do see a bit of a rally here in January. Again, I bring it up so many times. I get tired of saying the same stat, but it's such an amazing stat that I just have to. Like 15% out of the S&P 500 is the expected returns from the date, right? From the date of a midterm election, right? Between the date of the midterm election and April 30th of the following year. Well, that would put the S&P 500, all the way back up at 4,500. And I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but I'm saying that there's a lot of precedent here for a potential rally. I know I brought up this chart here before. The top for the S&P 500 usually comes in, and this is the yield curve, the 10-year minus the 2-year. The only thing, it's bonds are confusing. The only thing you need to know here is that when this goes below this green level, this zero line, that means the yield curve has inverted, and it's very, very predictive of a large crash or recession to come. So I do think that we do get a recession in 2023. But I also note that usually the market does not actually peak It does not actually peak until the yield curve has actually bottomed, or after the yield curve has bottomed. And right now, it looks like we've just recently bottomed here, so we could very well see a bit of a rally here. And I do think that sets up the crypto market very nicely. If the S&P 500 can play nice here and start rallying again, or at least get a little bit of momentum to the upside, or at the very least not crash, then we could see a little bit of a bear market rally for crypto. I think I sent you guys the predictions video. That was one of the big predictions. And one of the other big predictions for 2023 was that Ethereum would outperform Bitcoin. And I put this chart up. At that point in time, earlier this week, we had not broken out yet. But as of the last 2 days, we're starting to break out. We're starting to see Ethereum outperform Bitcoin, break out of this pattern. That, to me, is very, very bullish for Ethereum. The structural flows in 2023 favor Ethereum over Bitcoin. So I think if you're going to have exposure to the market right now, ETH is a really good place to start.
So what you're saying is FOMO into ETH? Is that what you're saying? It's not what you're saying.
Hey, if you're gonna FOMO into anything, I think ETH is a pretty good option. I think it's going to be your best option. But we do have resistance. We have our 21-week simple moving average up here at around $1,400. That's usually a good place to de-risk, because usually you get rejected in a bear market. But who knows? We may go into a bear market rally and try to test some of these higher levels, these red easy band levels, and see crypto run a little bit here. So happy to go over any specific charts here, but that's just what I'm kind of looking out for.
So question. So, the Shanghai upgrade for ETH is coming in March, supposedly. That's where all the ETH that's locked in the contract in the beacon chain is going to be unlocked. So a lot of people are saying, hey, they've been waiting months. Some of them have been waiting a year or two. They're just going to take profit and dump their ETH. What do you say to those people?
To those people, I say the most of that ETH was staked. I believe the beacon chain, you could start staking and locking it up in December of 2020. So that was the start of it. So the earliest people to stake got in at around stake it at a value of about $500 or $600, and a lot of people staked it all the way up here. So there's a very small portion of people that staked and are still in profit here. And you also have to understand that those people who staked are among the most bullish people in the Ethereum market. You also have to understand that now that you'll have the ability to unlock your staked Ethereum, meaning it's not going to be locked up for, at this point it's been 2 years, over 2 years that has been locked up. Now that once it becomes unlockable, I think it's going to have the opposite effect. Yes, I think there might be a short-term drop, a little bit of a short-term, people being worried about that Ethereum getting unlocked and in dumping. But I think what you'll find is more people are going to be more comfortable staking their Ethereum because they know they're not locking it up for an indefinite amount of time. They'll actually be able to unlock it and sell it whenever they want. So I think that's going to drive more people towards staking their ETH, towards earning this very, very attractive yield of 7% per year on an asset that is pretty much deflationary. It's kind of been flat, in terms of inflation versus deflation recently, but it's going to be deflationary as soon as we get any sort of bid into the crypto space. So
I want to highlight.
Go ahead.
I want to highlight. You said 7%. That's not 7%. Hand your ETH over to Celsius. Hand your ETH over to Coinbase. That's 7% staking directly on chain. So I think that's also important to mention as well.
It's huge. You're getting 7. And what a lot of people don't understand about staking is, like, if you stake Ethereum is fully distributed essentially. And it's got a deflationary market cap if there's enough transaction volume. If you stake AVAX, for example, which also does have a burn mechanism, and I'm a fan of AVAX, but it's still in that inflationary phase where they're distributing tokens to validators at a rate of like 10+% per year. And there's some unlocks along the way. If you're staking your AVAX, you're earning 10% or whatever in AVAX.
Stake, baby.
But you're being... I'm sorry?
Robin just being Robin for us.
If you're staking your AVAX, you're earning 10%, but that 10% is being offset by the dilution of AVAX into the space, into the circulating supply. You don't have that with Ethereum. You're getting 7% on a token that is deflationary. Right, you're getting 7% on a token that is deflationary, and I don't think that people understand that. You're not getting diluted by the staking rewards. That's huge.
Can we take a look at Solana's chart? We know it had a nice run up to, I believe it's sitting at $13. If someone were to take a flyer on Solana and say all the FUD, screw the FUD, I think it's going to come back. What are some good entry points? Is now a good entry point, or do you think it'll dip back down to that $8-9 range?
Yeah. So, my take on Solana is, I don't know exactly what it's going to do in the short term, but it's, in my opinion, going to bounce back next market cycle. Having the level of composability and scalability that they have on the layer 1 of Solana is huge. What I mean by that is Ethereum, and I'm a mega Ethereum bull. But Ethereum has to outsource a lot of its throughput, a lot of its transactions to layer 2s. And you see that over and over and over. Even AVAX, which is a very scalable chain, has subnets, which are also very scalable, but they have to outsource some of that computing power elsewhere. Solana is very composable. It's all done on layer 1. So I think absolutely Solana bounces back next cycle. Does it make new all-time highs? Maybe, maybe not. But could I see this bouncing back to $40 or $50 next cycle? Sure, I could even see it in a bear market rally. If you're looking for an entry point, just from a fundamentals perspective, we now have recovered this green easy band level. We've recovered this sideways range between $10 and $15. You could very well take this as a bit of confidence to get back in. If you're expecting a bear market rally here, I think Solana could perform well in a bear market rally, to be quite honest. You also have a lot of the VC money that is now out. Yes, you have some overhang from continued FTX exposure and some continued VC exposure, but largely a lot of that has been washed out, and the people that now control Solana are the people that have been accumulating and bidding it down below $15. I want to throw on our short, or we do our long margin pressure levels. Right, and show you guys that $16 is going to be some resistance, and $16 kind of overlaps with our next easy band level as well if we were to get a shorter term pump here. So good place to potentially de-risk or maybe even look for a short opportunity if you're bearish on Solana, which there's a lot of reason to be bearish on Solana in the short term, to be fair. $16 could be a decent resistance level to take a look at. But good news is we have reclaimed that level. If you look at what happened the last time Solana reclaimed this green easy band level, right, we popped up and it was a little bit volatile, but we did go on to rally up towards $50, right? So you can always look for a little bit of a mean reversion here or a shorter term trade. But I think in the long term, now's not necessarily the best time to be bidding crypto. I think it'll be a better time in maybe July, August, September of this year as we get closer to the Bitcoin halving. But I do think that Solana will bounce back next market cycle. I'm not, especially after it's recovered and the way the community has reacted and the amount of projects and communities and developers who have made it very, very clear that they are not leaving Solana. I do think that Solana is going to be around next market cycle.
Okay. Did you have any other charts? Or you want to? Should we move on to the news?
Happy to share any that you want to take a look at. I'm pretty bullish on the DGOD's Utes NFT ecosystem. They're moving from Solana to Ethereum.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Real quick. I know we never really touched too much onto the meme coin craze, but we know that there's a new meme coin on the block. Any takeaways from that? I know that's pulled down.
From a bunk?
Yeah, bonk. Yeah, it went down like 50%.
What is bunk?
Have you looked at it all? Is there?
Are you invested?
Yeah, I mean, we obviously don't really believe in meme coins, but it's been a lot of chitter chatter. So I'm just wondering what you kind of thought about it.
Yeah. So okay. Bonk. Yeah, basically they airdropped to all the Solana NFT holders, except for DGODs and Utes and a couple of other projects. And the point of it was to basically stick the digital crypto middle finger to to DGods and Utes for actually leaving Solana, which
Seriously?
I'm a very bullish on that move.
Bro,
So they didn't give the airdrop to Utes or DGods holders. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say DGods and Utes is kind of what gave Solana NFTs relevance, right? Or at least put them in the
they did.
forefront.
They're the ones that started the Solana NFT ecosystem, basically.
That's messed up, man.
Yeah, so they're salty that DGods and Utes are leaving to go to Polygon and Ethereum, which I think is the right move given what's happened with Solana. They could always move back. They could always launch another collection on Solana. And we saw this just crazy run up. I don't even know what the actual percentage is, like 18.4,000%. So I believe that's like 180x or so off of the bottom. So obviously, if you got in early, you did really well. But we're starting to see some of a little bit of a narrative emerge. I personally, I don't want to go on the record of saying the top is in for Bonk. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. It looks like we've gotten that first really nasty correction. So it's going to be 74% correction. It's unclear whether or not it'll be able to recover from this. And if it does, I think it'll take some time.
And that's on the 4-hour chart,
particularly. Right? Yeah, this is the 4-hour chart. This thing's moving extraordinarily quickly.
But
we had this one, Chili, which is the number 2. This launched yesterday. I do expect an airdrop for this, full disclosure, but I am not, not too hopeful here. I mean, it's pretty garbage chart. Probably a rug pull, just taking advantage of the meme coin narrative. One interesting one that, guys, it's a different game to play. Like, this is not investing. This is musical chairs. So full disclosure, I also do expect an airdrop for this one. But if we go over to Twitter, I will show you guys the one that I believe is launching today. I don't know what time, if it is. It's called Franc, right? And the narrative here is they are sticking the virtual middle finger back over to Bonk, and they're launching today, and they're airdropping specifically to the projects that did not get airdropped Bonk. So they're saying, okay, we're going to make our own meme coin, and we're going to airdrop it to the people that you left out. And these silly narratives, they can catch fire, and maybe it performs well. So that'll be one to watch. I do think. Are
you going to hodl? Or are you going to sell right away?
Yeah, I mean, be careful. I think they have an airdrop list here if you want to fill out the form. Use a burner address. Like, don't put any funds or anything at risk. I would not recommend that anybody like apes into this. If you want to just mess around and throw in a couple bucks for fun to practice, using dexes on Solana or something, go for it. But you never know. You never know. I'll just wanted to throw that out there since the topic is meme coins
real quick
for now.
I just want to check in with the chat real quick. Chat, are you guys FOMOing in any of these super speculative lose all your money projects? Put a 1 in the chat if you are. If you're just DJing to the max, put a 2 in the chat if you think this is bad for the space and taking away funds and that should be allocated to real projects. So 1, DJing, 2.
Well, people are going to spend their money where they want to spend their money. They want to spend their money on a meme coin, they will. They want to,
And then also just a real quick intermission, real quick. Let me just give a little love to some of the new people. If you're new here, say hello so we can drop an hola right back at you.
No, the saying goes, if you're new here, say hola so Robin can pronounce your name wrong.
That's right. So we got Brewski, Crypto Trends, Anthony Johnston. We got Cape, also Brewski. I already said Brewski once. We got Brett, JC, Los, Aru, Bunny from the 80s, Merced, Ohanes, and Jeltsen La Lepera. Did I get it? Did I nail it? Am I good?
Good job.
Hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto.
Yay.
Thank you.
All right. Like Robin said, if you're new here, please say hello. All right. Let's move on to some news. So bad few days for the Mashinsky man, the Mashinsky, Alex. So we're going to start here from Cointelegraph. So if you guys remember, during the bankruptcy proceedings, Alex Mashinsky said, we are going to keep our mining business afloat. That's what's going to help pay for our bankruptcy proceedings, our lawyers. It's also what's going to help pay for my wife's really expensive rings. But now that has fell by the wayside as Core Scientific, another company that's in bankruptcy, shuts down 37,000 mining rigs that it was hosting for Celsius. Let's There we go. All Celsius rigs will be powered down effective January 3rd and will not be restarted during the transition period. On October 19th, Core Scientific accused Celsius of failing to pay its power bills, later citing the non-payment as a major factor in the liquidity issues that led to the Core Scientific filing for bankruptcy. According to the court filings, the termination of the agreement would apparently allow Core Scientific to generate a revenue of $2 million a month from the space that is currently being occupied by Celsius mining rigs. But that's not where the fun stopped for Alex, as he is now getting sued by the New York Attorney General. Former CEO Alex Mashinsky is being sued by the New York AG for defrauding investors and making false statements about the company's financials. This is a quote from the Attorney General, Miss Letitia James. Alex Mashinsky lied to people about the risks of investing in Celsius, hid his deteriorating financial condition, and failed to register in New York. She claimed that he, quote, defrauded hardworking people by promising them big returns, but had only left them in financial ruin. James stated she was suing Mashinsky for restitution and damages and was seeking to ban him from operating in New York ever again. How about banning him from operating in the U.S. ever again?
World.
Yeah. So I'm gonna start with Cassius here first. Pretty right. So them shutting down the mining rigs, right? So that income stream revenue is gone. Then you have him being sued. Are you surprised? Does he have it coming? Does it need to be harsher? What are your general thoughts?
Yeah, you're not going to be too harsh on Alex Machinsky, as far as I'm concerned. Full disclosure, I lost money in Celsius, so I'm big on self-custody, not your keys, not your crypto. I know a lot of people always say it. It's true. And I even have it in my song, I Can Lead You to the Money. I was at Money 2020 the last time I was in Las Vegas, and I have a song that I wrote and filmed a music video out here for it. I got to spit these bars right here. It goes,
Spit 'em, bro.
so yeah, I'll be buying when the market ain't the healthiest. Keep it in your wallet if you want to be the wealthiest. Because if not your keys, not your crypto, when they steal it, you'll be hella pissed. Say it with me one time now. Fuck Celsius.
Damn.
Okay? I even got Ben from BitBoy Crypto to say F Celsius with me in the music video because I stood right next to Alex Machinsky in Miami. This is the last year. So it was a year ago, or I guess it was the previous year at Art Basel. And he stood there. It was at the Celsius. They had a little, brunch, dinner, whatever you want to call it, a little get together. And he's on his high horse, breaking both of his arms to pat himself in the back, talking about regulators, been up his ass so deep, they're like proctologists, and they didn't find anything wrong with the company, and everything is legit. And I've done these other companies in the past. This is the most secure and legal one I've ever touched. So, I'm standing right next to him. If you go way back on my Instagram, you'll see that video. So for him to come out, and by the way, they were the first ones to go down, right? Bitcoin hit 29,000. They must be the worst traders of all time, taking our money and over there trading. We could have traded better than that.
They kept picking up Bitcoin and moving down their liquidation point, but at the end of the day, they got their liquidation point.
They were giving out their money though to other people to trade for them, or they were doing it themselves. We don't really know. It's part of the problem. Degens. And so basically, my point is how bad of traders were you? You know what I'm saying? So anyways, I know that he defrauded people. I'm glad they're going after his ass. And to me, there's no crime too hard. No punishment too hard for him.
I agree. And you know what irritates the crap out of me is now with Sam going down, this dude's back on Twitter retweeting.
Oh, I know.
Like nothing happened. That irritates the living hell out of me. Rob, what are your thoughts? Obviously, we know with that income being gone from Core Scientific hosting their mining rigs, what kind of effect is that going to have on the bankruptcy proceedings? Are they going to have to just go Chapter 7 and liquidate everything? I know we're speculating here, but just kind of share your general thoughts and maybe touch on that subject.
On Alex Mashinsky or Core Scientific?
Either or. Both.
Yeah. So just to kind of piggyback on what Cassius was saying is that you have a scam artist that literally was enticing people to deposit into their accounts, knowing that they were going to halt trading. They didn't just decide they're going to halt trading all of a sudden. They didn't decide that, hey, we just happened to notice we have a $1.8 billion hole in our books here. So, ethically, the man did, frauded people, and he knew it.
Also, Altcoin Daily did a video yesterday. I definitely recommend you guys check it out. They actually put clips together of how Alex Mashinsky was out there weeks, just sometimes days before they went under, was saying everything's fine, people are fighting, blah, blah, blah. And I think that is what he needs to be held accountable for is lying to people. We understand businesses fail. We understand it was in your terms of service. We knew people should have known that when they send their money to you, it's not your property. So that doesn't bother me. What bothers me is you lying to people, getting them to lock their money in, getting them to deposit more money in, and then all the while knowing you were going to.
Well, here's the thing. If you can't hold somebody accountable, criminally, because of the wording in the platform, then, why not go after them with civil lawsuits? Get him for every penny he has. And dude's got a lot of money, right? He's still spending. He's still going out to nice dinners. Yeah.
Got more money than all the people he stole from.
Yeah. So, let's hold him accountable. If we can't do it with the justice system, let's do it personally. Class action lawsuits. Also, institutions are going to want their money back as well, because there's a lot of institutions that had money locked up with Celsius as well.
He should not, though, for sure, be able to do this again. I mean, that is at a minimum, right? At a minimum, the people who were found out to want to be bad actors, they're done. Give someone else a chance.
I agree. Forrest, what are your thoughts, man? I'll kind of leave this pretty general for you. I'm sure everyone on this stream today agrees that he should be held accountable. I think we're all pretty happy that he's being sued by the New York AG. What are your general thoughts on the whole situation? Do you agree that he should never be allowed to operate in just the finance crypto industry moving forward? And what kind of impact do you think Core Scientific taking the mining rigs off the network has for Celsius moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think he should probably be barred from. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know legally. Speculating here, what's probably right is that he's no longer allowed to operate financially in the crypto or financial ecosystems. But it all points back to Do Kwon. I mean, it's like, yeah, Alex Mashinsky is a bad guy. I'm not saying he's not, but it's like I'm like 99% certain what he was doing was simply just paying out, taking people customer funds, putting it in Terra Luna, earning 20%, and then paying out 14 to 17% and keeping the 2 to 3%, and doing the same thing with other risky strategies with the coins that people would deposit, Bitcoin and Ethereum and whatever coins they had added. They're just doing degen yield farming with them, and ended up blowing up and then ended up losing a lot of money. So he was essentially just running a hedge fund in disguise, and people thought that it was more of like a lending service / almost like a bank. But it was really just like a degen yield farming hedge fund. So yeah, it's crazy the amount of contagion and wreckage that has been caused by Do Kwon and Terra Luna, or stemmed from. But not to say that Celsius wouldn't have blown up anyways. As far as the Bitcoin mining rigs go, people hate me for saying this. I get hateful tweets and called a clown on Twitter all the time if I post anything negative about Bitcoin. But it structurally is bad for Bitcoin's price. This is one of the drawbacks to proof of work and mining. You have miner, when the price drops low, it can spiral and drop lower because miners have to move rigs offline and sell Bitcoin reserves to get through until the next bull market. So it's not particular. It's definitely not a bullish thing for Bitcoin. Unfortunately, I do hope that the crypto market rallies here, and I do think the crypto market will bounce back. But it's one of the downsides to Bitcoin, and a lot of people they live in this pretend world where there's no downsides to Bitcoin. It's like, Bitcoin may be fine, but this is one of the things that happens. We saw it last bear market. We're seeing it this bear market. Bitcoin miner capitulation is real. And if Bitcoin's price stays low, miners sell their Bitcoin and push the price lower. It's definitely not a good thing. It's something that people need to be aware of if they're going to hodl Bitcoin. They need to be aware of, hey, there's going to be large drawdowns in the future if there's large spike ups, because those huge parabolic runs draw in more money and investment into Bitcoin mining, which is basically leveraged exposure to the hash rate of Bitcoin and the price of Bitcoin. So people need to be aware that hey, these risks do exist with Bitcoin, and we're kind of seeing that play out right now.
I think the risks exist with everything. I want to give a quick shout out to our hype man, the Sin City Crypto hype man, Jimmy. He is now gifted 20 free memberships. Jimmy,
My man.
love you, bro.
Also, a little bit more love for the chat. Earlier when we asked ones and twos.
Hold on, man.
What's that?
When Kyler emoji?
When we get to a certain
Better
amount
be
of
the next one.
Yeah, I got you. All right, so Mike, George, and Leroy all put ones in the chat. They are officially degening into speculative projects.
Hey, man. It's your money, bro. You
put your
earned the
seatbelt on,
money.
bro.
You earned that money. Just know.
And then also, of course, a little check in on the chat here. We got a few new people. We have XO Fur, Puddles, Eli Chanel, One Hit Quitta, JD. We got Hard Penetrator Gaming, the Session, J Hugh, Jiu Jitsu, Crypto Mike. To all of you, hola, welcome.
Maybe some names you can skip over.
You know, I start reading it, and then halfway through, I'm like, oh, maybe I should.
Cassie, I apologize.
YOLO.
Speaking of Cassie, we're gonna finish this topic off with you. What are just share your thoughts on this whole Mashinsky thing? Are you happy? Do you think it should not just be just the New York AG? It should be on a federal level? Do you want to see Mashinsky go away bye-bye? Do you think he deserves a second chance if he somehow comes clean? And then, I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Absolutely not. I'm glad they're doing something about it. And I mean, Martin Shkreli, after he got in trouble, he wasn't allowed to work in the healthcare industry anymore. So I think he should be nixed from the financial industry everywhere. Also, with Alex, he took over the trading strategy earlier that year.
Yeah,
And like,
you're right.
yeah. So I think a lot of this falls in his lap.
What are your thoughts? Let me ask you this question. So, we talked about this before the show. The 44 million, I believe the number was 44 million that was held on Celsius via custody for their consumers was gifted back, well, not gifted, was given back to the customers. But all the money in the Earn program is the property of Celsius, which is now property of the bankruptcy estate. That was in the terms of service that when you put your money in there, you put your crypto, it is theirs. Do you agree with the judgment the judge made? Or do you think it should have gone to the customer? I mean, it's legal, right?
Well, it's legal. And in the world of law, it's kind of black and white. Voyager had something similar in their disclosures. You know, that if you deposit your funds in there, that they would use it to trade with others. So unfortunately, is it good? No, but I think it was the right decision.
Right.
I think it's a learning experience, if anything. Yes. I think moving forward, it's going to be advertised for exchanges. Like, so when you see perhaps an exchange trying to get your business, maybe at the bottom you're going to have, we do not misappropriate your funds, we do not move them, we do not touch them. Here's our proof of reserves. Like, I think moving forward, people are going to demand transparency, and we might even see institutions working with exchanges and doing audits for them. I think we might have because if the regulators don't come in and hold accountability, then at some point the market is going to demand it themselves. Otherwise, they're not going to use the product. And so I'm not going to use any exchanges, but and I think a lot of people share the same sentiment as I do. I'm just going to use it as onboard, offboard, grab my crypto, remove, and then I'll wipe my hands clean. But it is a sharp contrast to how I used to operate. I used to keep some money on exchange to buy when the dip came in. I did use some different platforms to stake, none that I got burned on, thankfully. But and even if you kind of stay up to beat with information, there's usually a couple indications that there's going to be insolvency issues before it comes up. I mean, Celsius is probably the only example that just outright just shut down. But outside of that, Voyager, there was questions behind BlockFi, and then even Genesis. There was a lot of whispers behind all of those. And if you were watching our channel, you probably caught some of those. It might not have been a big runway beforehand. You might have been like, hey man, 2-3 days before, like, guys, we were beating the drum on Voyager. We were beating the drum on BlockFi and a few others as well. So just proceed with caution. As soon as you smell any kind of funny business. Remove yourself from all risk. That's the way I go. I mean, you shouldn't even, right now, you're at the bottom of a bear market. I wouldn't take much risk anyways. Custody your own crypto. Why take any risk?
Why would you take stupid risks when you can literally pick up tokens like Matic for 80 cents?
Yeah.
Right. All right. I want to move on. To the story that never ends. There's going to be a 25-part reality series when this thing is all said and done. Might even be a trilogy of movies. And as the man Alex Mashinsky, no, sorry, Sam Bankman-Fried, he might get one too. So Sam, okay, so just to give everyone some context here, there's these $450 million of Robinhood shares, right? 3 people are going after him: Sam, BlockFi, and some guy named Simone or what's his name? Something. Jonathan, something. BlockFi is saying, hey, it was pledged as collateral for our deal. Sam is saying it's mine because the company I had bought it. And the other guy, no idea, but he's claiming it. I guess it's on behalf of the customers. But Sam is now pleading with the judge, saying he needs the Robinhood shares to pay for his criminal defense. And so this is sourced from Cointelegraph. The legal team for former CEO Bankman-Fried has filed a motion in an effort to stop the exchange's debtors from controlling more than $450 million worth of the Robinhood shares. This is a quote from from Sam's lawyers. Mr. Bankman-Fried has not been found criminally or civilly liable for fraud, and it is improper for the FTX debtors to ask the court to simply assume that everything Mr. Bankman-Fried ever touched is presumptively fraudulent. I think the only thing that he touched that's not fraudulent was that poor cucumber. Remember the cucumber he was eating, and he was like, "I'm vegan," and then like in the background you see like a bunch of like
the one that instantaneously memed.
Yeah, it was instant memes.
Even before the FTX went under, it's like I saw no shortage of Sam Bankman-Fried doing a side chew on a cucumber. I'm like, what's going on here?
Which, by the way, I love cucumbers with some tahini and lime juice.
I bet you do love them.
Yeah, with the tahini and lime juice. Me, my daughter, and my oldest son, we eat that all day long. All right. The FTX debtors have not shown that they have a reasonable likelihood of succeeding on the merits of a fraudulent transfer claim. According to his lawyers, Sam requires some of these funds to pay for his criminal defense. Forrest. I don't even know what question to ask. So we already had a discussion as far as who do you think should get it. Do you think Sam's got a point? Like, if he can't pay for his law or the bankruptcy or whatever he's using it to pay it for, is that harm all the creditors in the long run? What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, similar. Like, I don't even know where to start here. Like, I genuinely don't know who deserves these shares. I don't know legally like where they should go. So I can't even really begin to comment on like who should get them. But the part that's interesting is like, yes, in the United States, as blatantly obvious as this is, and I can't believe that he's actually pleading not guilty, which is a whole nother thing around. I think there's like some weird law that's going to prevent like Caroline and other people from testifying against him. So this is bizarre. I think this is going to be a case that takes a long time to play out, and there's going to be twists and turns, and I think there's going to be surprises. And I don't know. Hopefully he gets put behind bars. At this point, there may be a little bit of doubt as to whether or not he will, now that he's pleaded not guilty.
So
I will say in the United States, I believe it is incredibly important to uphold the standard of innocent until proven guilty. So right. I do get the point that they're making. I don't know whether or not that actually matters when applied to who controls these shares of Robinhood. But
what if he incriminated himself? I do think it is important.
But until a judge, until he's actually found guilty in court, I do think you have to uphold the standard of innocent until proven guilty, even though it's very obvious that he's guilty. If you start treating people, treating people as though they're guilty before they are actually proven guilty, that's a slippery slope. So I do think that's important in the United States to uphold. But yeah. Messy. I'm not in favor. Let me be clear. I'm not in favor of SBF at all. But that one isolated thing did stand out to me as being pretty important.
I mean, I think it's... Go ahead, Cassie.
I think the big thing is that he acquired the funds to... Like, basically, he borrowed the money to buy those shares.
It was customer funds, just say it.
Right.
He used customer money to buy the shares.
Or at least they're in question. So they should be frozen until we get to the bottom of it.
I agree with that, especially since Wang already pled guilty.
Yeah, so apparently you got the Bahamas holding, I don't know, like 300 million or something.
I mean, what's the difference between the politicians giving back campaign donations that were from SBF and
yeah, and why are they doing that?
also rewinding or kind of having the same premise when it comes to stocks? Because obviously money was used there in the same manner. So I think that's going to be tricky. You also have a collateralized loan for BlockFi as well. So that just complicates everything. But also, if you have assets in BlockFi and if that loan would have went through, maybe they wouldn't have went under. And now that they went on, now that the loan didn't go through, the collateral was the stocks. If I was a user of BlockFi and I didn't have any exposure to FTX, I would be like, yo, y'all borrowed money. The collateral was this. It was a signed contract.
Well, maybe that collateral could make the BlockFi users whole.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you have exposure only BlockFi, not FTX, you're probably in favor there. I mean, I think it's a no-win situation for everybody. But I mean, I don't know. I kind of see everyone's perspective on that. Kind of like family bickering over a will and who gets what. So.
And Forrest, you brought up how he pled not guilty. I do want to mention, we covered this 2 days ago, but Bernie Madoff's lawyer has spoken. All of a sudden, he's relevant now. He has said that even though he pleaded not guilty, they can change their plea deal at any given time. And so what a lot of people are speculating is he's buying himself some more time, more freedom, because as soon as he said guilty, they would have handcuffed him and put him in jail.
Just to clear the air on that, everyone pleads not guilty at your arraignment. That's not like a thing. You thought he was going to go in there and just say, I'm guilty, take me to jail. He wasn't going to.
Well, I think a lot of people assume that he already had a plea deal kind of in place or was at least working on
then
one.
You would plead guilty only if you had a deal, though.
Right. And so obviously he didn't have a deal. But we know who does have deals. It's Caroline Ellison and Gary Wang. And who doesn't is Dan Friedberg because he's working with the government.
I am still in the camp that there is some possibility that Sam Bankman-Fried does go to court. He did go against the advice of his lawyers and speak on every media channel out there.
Bro.
His lawyers were like, yo, shut up. And he was like, nah, I got this, bro. He's like, Twitter Spaces, here I come, YOLO. And so, he did that once before. I wouldn't be surprised if his lawyers are like, yo, take a plea deal. He's like, I got this. I did no wrong. I just mismanaged money.
Guys, trust me, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. So I wouldn't put it past him to do something like that. Honestly, it's just, I'm just looking at history. I mean, it was only a few weeks ago he was doing Twitter Spaces.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Anyone else got anything to add to Mr. Bankman-Fried here before I move on?
Cassie was down there in the Bahamas and she witnessed in the
you saw him?
trial. Yeah, go ahead and tell your story.
Yeah, I saw. Well, so we went down and sat through the expedition trial.
Oh yeah,
or hearing on a trial. It was weird. It was weird seeing him in person. He looked really stressed out, which I would also be very stressed out. But yeah, it was surreal.
I just want to say one thing because a lot of people are crypto influencers or educators, whatever you want to call it. And we come on shows like this and my show too, and we just talk about what's going on. But I want to just commend the folks who actually went down and witnessed the actual trial for themselves. Is actually doing real journalism. So we've come to a space now where influencers are doing the job of mainstream media to try to report back what is actually being seen and heard in person. So I want to give a shout out to everybody who did that kind of work.
Sure. Yeah. And so real quick, Teju, I think that's how you say his name. What about Sam Trabucco? Was a previous CEO of Alameda. He needs to be looked into too. I 100% agree. Maybe he cut a deal too. And here's the thing we've learned. When you see sudden departures, right? You had that. You had the Binance US guy left. You had the BlockFi guy left. And now you have and FTX's US president, Brett Harrison, just abruptly left.
Yep.
Now the COO of Gemini has abruptly left as well. And so I'm not saying that, hey, they're going under, but it's definitely something to keep an eye on. But either way, everyone on this freaking panel agrees, custody your crypto. And even if worst case scenario, if I don't feel comfortable, seed phrase, whatever, get yourself a MetaMask or a Trust Wallet on your computer. Get a computer that just buy it from a $200 computer from Target or Walmart. Don't put anything on it. Just put MetaMask or whatever, and then put your money on there.
Every time Vitalik moves any Ethereum,
he buys a brand new computer.
New computer.
That's from the Lex Friedman podcast.
Yeah.
Podcast. All right.
You get hardware wallets too. Hardware wallets too. Arculus.
Yes. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like hardware wallet number one. But if you're like, oh my God, I don't trust my, okay, get at least a MetaMask.
Arculus is pretty easy to use.
Arculus is pretty easy. We had an interview.
They were at Money.
They were. All right, let's move on to DCG. I know it sounds like a music band, but it's not. Digital Currency Group to shutter their wealth management unit. So things are starting to crumble for DCG. I want you guys to understand, DCG was once seen as the largest, I want to call it conglomerate, in the entire crypto space. I mean, they own GBTC. They own the Foundry, which is a mining hosting service. They own CoinDesk, one of the most prominent news media outlets in crypto. They own Genesis Global Trading, Genesis Markets. Like at one point, they were worth 60, 70, 80 billion dollars in assets that they had. And so now things are starting to crumble. It all started here with Genesis. They went under. Well, not technically went under. They halted withdrawals on their Earn program, which affected companies like Gemini and their consumers. Well, now Digital Currency Group, they are shutting down their wealth management arm of their company, which was called HQ Digital. And it was a subsidiary focused on wealth management that it launched just last year. Spokeswoman for DCG told the information that HQ was winding down due to the state of the broader economic environment and prolonged crypto winter, presenting significant headwinds to the industry, adding that the company may revisit the project in the future. Launched last year to manage the money of crypto entrepreneurs and investors, HQ managed more than $3.5 billion as of December. Let's start with Robin first.
Man, things are breaking, right? And you mentioned was the largest conglomerate. I still think they are. I mean, Grayscale is the largest holder of Bitcoin, right? For active Bitcoin wallet addresses. And so
by far. Well, outside of Satoshi's wallet, yes.
Yeah. So at an active wallet. So you have the biggest holder of Bitcoin in Grayscale. You have Genesis shut down. And these wealth management, that's your institutions, man. That's where you get your money from, because retail is gone, right? Yeah. The waitress that just put $500 in a meme coin, she ain't here no more. And so, for these big companies, they're relying on institutions and their institutional services, especially DCG. They just shut that down. And if this isn't foreshadowing what's to come, I don't know what else is, man.
Guys,
you got you got questions behind the GBTC. Also, the ETF is not passing.
It's not happening.
It's not happening.
They're not getting the ETF.
And so we've talked about transferring ownership of the trustee. Perhaps Grayscale getting their trust bought up by Valkyrie, perhaps, or
Valkyrie came out and said, "We want to buy it."
And not to mention that the Grayscale, the guy, the CEO, I guess it would be his name. I don't know. One of the top guys there literally came out in an interview, was like, "Hey man, everything's on the table. Like we will entertain offers to move our assets, to move the GBTC if we need to." And he specifically said if the ETF doesn't go through. And so I don't think it's going to happen, especially now. And so if it's not going to happen, they're gonna make a move. You got a long ass bear market, and I don't think they're gonna make it all the way to the next bull run. Just hobbling through. They just shut down institutions. I mean, where else are they getting money, man? They got a big ass hole to fill.
You guys, everyone needs to be on, like, when I say, like, when you talk about high alert, I'm talking like high alert, like Snoop Dogg high alert. Like literally, I don't believe right now when we bring something up, it's like, oh, it's FUD. Any information that's presented that's not to your bias is all labeled FUD. It's not FUD. It's information. You can turn it into FUD if you start believing it and not doing your own research. But we have to start, like we always talk about, we don't want the government telling us where we can spend our money. Oh, in Canada, they limited how much money. In Nigeria, they limited how much crypto you can buy. I make the money. Let me spend it how I want to. If I want to DJ it into a meme coin, let me do it. Well, on the flip side, when we get screwed, we can't cry and say, help us, government, help us. You can't be, I don't want government in, and then you can't also be like, well, why aren't anyone holding these people accountable? We have to hold ourselves accountable. And as a community, if we literally come together and we all share information and we all listen to each other and get out of our own echo chambers, which is why we consistently bring guests on the show all the freaking time. Because we don't want you to just listen to Robin and David and Rocco and Kyler and be like, oh my God, what they're saying. No, we might be wrong. We might be right. It's just, we have to do a better job of just stop FOMOing into everything, do some research, and when information comes out that doesn't seem right, question it, look into it. Don't rail on the people that bring up points like, hey, I think this, I don't know, man. Binance seems a little off. They're doing this. Oh, you're a fudster, blah, blah, blah. Those are the same freaking people that sit there and cry on Twitter when their funds get stolen. All I'm saying is, man, just stop believing everything because you have money into it. It's just money. Who cares? So that's my that's my thing, man.
I couldn't agree more with you. I mean, one of the things that we need to do is self-regulation within crypto, and people, influencers, educators, whatever you want to call it, someone with a voice and a platform. We do need to question these bigger exchanges. And I mean, if you notice, all the biggest ones that went down were centralized players anyway, right?
Yes.
And we can't say it enough. Like, we need to always remind people. I know we do, but we're going to keep reminding them that if anybody talks about regulation and stuff, it's usually on the centralized players who took advantage of everyone and tanked everything in a big, massive way all at once. So we definitely want to have an eye on them as well. Yes, CZ, Binance as well. They're still a centralized exchange. So for the folks who are in it, because we're all in it, yeah, it's not fun if we question things about what they're going on. Like, we want to know more about just their proof of reserves. We want to know about liabilities as well. I had on the CEO of, the president of a centralized exchange on my show, my last episode, talking about how we can do deeper dives and more self-regulation into crypto exchanges. So
yeah, like,
we definitely need to do that.
You got to start questioning everything. Cassie, what are your I forgot where I went on a little tirade there. So DCG, if they go under, do we need to see companies that are like this just go away? I know it's going to hurt, but just for the betterment of the space moving forward. Or do you think it's like 2008, where if the banks go down, then the whole economy is going to crash? You think if someone like DCG goes down, the whole crypto market's going to crash?
Now, I don't know too much about their ties as far as in the larger. Well, I know they're a big player, so yeah, there's definitely going to be some damage done. But I hate that too big to fail mentality. I feel like that's one of the biggest issues we have with the current, traditional financial markets, bailing banks out. If they go down and that means we have a longer crypto winter, then I'm all for it.
Okay. What about you, Forrest? DCG goes under. Would you say, and let me ask you this question. This is an interesting question. Would you say that if DCG goes under, then this would be the worst bear market? And the only one I can think of is when Gox went under, and that was like 95% of the Bitcoin trading at the moment, which was like 90% of all of crypto trading. Would this mark the worst bear market if someone like DCG goes under and let's say GBTC or something happens to them, they get sold off, or people start being able to, unlock their Bitcoin and just take it in custody and potentially jump on the market? We don't know the ripple effects it can have, but if that does happen, what's your outlook? Is it changing? Is it the same?
Yeah, it's interesting because yes, that would be very, very bad. And kind of we'll talk about, I'll get back to this in a second, but the kind of the nuclear scenario is what you alluded to there, is like the Grayscale trust being dissolved and having to be all sold off and liquidated. That'd be really bad. But at the same time, if you look at what happened to Bitcoin and how actually well the market has held up, and many coins actually bouncing back and above their highs from where they were, like Litecoin of all coins is above where it was when FTX collapsed. Which is super interesting. Now, obviously, Litecoin, there was not a lot of FTX exposure to Litecoin and whatnot, but the market was surprisingly resilient despite FTX collapsing, which is very, very interesting. And I don't know if there's like liquidation points or margin calls that are being protected against, but there does seem to be buyers down below. So if this happens, yes, I do think it'd be the worst bear market. And I think it has been a horrible, horrible bear market. But I don't know if it's nuclear to the point where like we go to 3K Bitcoin or something like that. And I think there's still buyers willing to buy above that level. Now, the nuclear scenario, of Grayscale having to liquidate the GBTC trust or the Ethereum trust through some form or fashion. I think it's illegal, I believe, for them to just sell it all off. I think they have to do something called like a tender offer or something like that. There's like some weird laws around it. But I think that is what everybody involved is trying to avoid. I think that is like the absolute last thing that they want to do. And the reason being is because that Grayscale trust is a incredibly productive asset. They take a 2% fee on it. Every single year. So it is an absolute cash cow. I forget how much money is in that thing, but that 2% fee is not even on the Grayscale, the value of the Grayscale shares. It's on the value of the assets inside it. So even at these very, very low, bear market prices, they're actually Grayscale is very profitable. They're making a lot of money on that. And it's not even a performance fee. It's like a management fee. Now, obviously performance has been terrible. Not only does Grayscale not want to dissolve that because it's a cash cow for them, and the more time they buy, the more money it makes and makes their hole, the hole that they have to fill, a little bit smaller. But any potential buyers that want to come in, they don't want it to dissolve. That's a very productive and very attractive asset right now for any potential buyers if they can come in and get it at potentially a discount and start earning that 2% management fee. So. I do think that the nuclear option is probably the least likely, just because that's what the last thing anybody in the space wants, including the people that are actually involved.
And you're absolutely right. They do make 2%. And Valkyrie said, "Hey, we want to buy it up, and we'll bump it down to 0.75%."
I just want to show you how widespread digital currencies group reach is.
It's gonna be a stupid picture.
No,
sorry. Okay.
So we have.
You never know what Rob is. Is it a joke? Or?
You got Genesis, Grayscale, and CoinDesk. Their subsidiaries.
Foundry's on there too, guys.
And then Foundry, and then also you got Coinbase here as well as in their investment portfolio. And they have over 110 companies across 28 countries. You can kind of see a little bit more of their portfolio of companies here. Yeah. So this is going to be far-reaching, and they're not just lightly peppering investments in. They are like the lead investors in a lot of these companies that are listed here. So you do have the likes of Kraken in here, also BitPay. Brave, Ripple, Circle. Yeah. And so, I think a lot of people are underplaying the ramifications that if they were to go
Here's the thing, though. DCG, they have, like you mentioned, their subsidiaries. Those are worth money. CoinDesk is worth money. Foundry is worth money. GBTC is worth money. So I don't think they'll have any issue selling those off. I'm not saying to help them stay in the... stay in the game, but anyways.
Before we sign off, I just want to give a little love to the chat here. We got a few new people. We have, first of all, we had Crypto Lifer in here. So if you're still here, he was in here. Say hello. And then we also got Retail Joe Crunk C says he's new, which he says that every time he's here. So
we'll give him a little every time.
And then we got Randy M, Buzz, and Mitchell. To all of you, hola, welcome, Sin City Crypto.
All right, Forrest, we're gonna let you know, my friend. We keep telling you 30 minutes, 45 minutes, but we keep you on the whole show because we just love your insight so much. If you love Forrest Insight, go follow him on Twitter. Sistine Research, he does live TA every single day, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Also, go follow him on Twitter at 0xstacker. Forrest, as always, my friend, thank you so much. We will see you videoly on Monday and on the stream on Friday. Thank you so much again, my friend. Take care.
Thanks for having me on. It's always a pleasure. See you guys.
All right, buddy. Take care.
Later.
And with that, before I do my infamous, have you guys seen my finger tornado, by the way? Cassie and Cassius?
No.
You're going to get to see it firsthand.
This is an amazing dance patented move
But
here.
before I do the finger tornado and I summon the Don to cue the music, I would like to hand it over to our in-house guest here. Anything? I know, Cassie, you mentioned you got a YouTube channel coming up. You got a timeline for that. Where can people find more information? We'll send it to you.
I don't have a timeline right now. I'm in the midst. I have so many projects going, and so it's been one of those slow processes. I think I've been working toward it the last 6 months. So if you follow me on Twitter, though, that's where updates will be posted.
And her direct link to her Twitter is in the description of this video. Please go follow her. Also, Jimmy's a super chat. We need Cassius and Cassie's opinions on my desk. This dude, Okay, Jimmy, we love Jimmy. He's a big member of our community. He hates my desk. So, Cassie, what are your thoughts on my desk?
I really like your desk.
And I really like that you said that. Cassius, what about you, bro? You can hate it.
The desk is working for me, man.
Cross
Yeah,
camera.
y'all don't have to be nice because it's the first time you're here, you know.
It's working.
I guess we're gonna ask him again when they're more comfortable with when they're more comfortable with the studio. All right, and then Cassius, what about you, my friend? Anything coming out? I know you said you're filming 2 music videos at CES
Today.
2
music videos today at CES. Yes, at Vue6 and also at Silo Cloud. I got a music video out right now called I Can Lead You to the Money. It's about not being afraid of the bear market, buying a dip, being strong, dollar cost averaging in. It's fun music video. So there's always new music coming. Also, I've got a new song coming out soon called I'm Verified on DCO, which is decentralized social media. It's kind of been in the news lately a lot with Twitter stuff going on, but Instagram, I call it Insta Scam. So follow me on Instagram. Of course, I got a post on there because I got a following on there, but we're trying to get people on decentralized social media and other things as well. So I got a new song coming out for that. And then my show, Poppin' Crypto with Cassius Couvé, still rolling on my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is just my name, Cassius Couvé. And I got a lot more stuff coming in 2023.
And we got his, it's not a link, but it's his handle. It's across every single social media, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. So go follow our guests. They don't ask for anything in return when they come on our show. The least we can do as a community is we can support them.
Appreciate it.
So with that being said, Rocco.
What?
Wow.
Friends,
That was it.
family,
That
friends
was
and
it.
family and family and friends. Thank you so much for joining us on this beautiful Forest Friday. Thank you to our in-house guests. We are super excited. We plan on bringing them on again in the future. Also, go check out our merch store. Go follow us on social media. Have an amazing weekend. We will see you all on Monday. Before I leave, huge shout out to Rocco and Kyler. These guys, 5 people last minute. They absolutely crushed it. This show would not be possible with those 2. So to you guys, thank you so much. We love you. And we'll see you guys Monday. Have a great weekend. Peace.